Great. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Happy Friday. Today, being joined once again by Gabe. Hi, Gabe.
Hey, everyone.
And we're going to be focusing specifically on the topic of working with strong emotions in conversation. Some of those strong emotions can be anger, frustration, or grief or sorrow. And things like that, things that really can overwhelm sometimes when they're present and impede our abilities to communicate and stay connected with the other. So I'm going to go right into sharing from the book. Unless, Gabe, do you want to say anything to?
No, take it away, my friend.
Us in the zone. All right, great. So this is from Compassionate Conversations, chapter 10, Strong Emotions. Conversations related to our differences often produce strong feeling states, including fear, anger over injustice, sorrow due to loss, fear of making mistakes, or guilt over the past often accompany and embellish our conversations. When these emotions arise, they are powerful and pertinent. They infuse the atmosphere with meaning and depth, but they can also convey threat and uncertainty. Strong emotions bring people together, but just as often they set people apart. For anyone who wants to engage in wholehearted discussions, it is essential to develop the capacity to be present to strong feeling states in yourself and others. Emotions are extremely intelligent, informative, and energetic, but working with them is an art, one that requires intention. Cool. I think that was all I wanted to share from the book. And maybe just about a word about this feedback loop, which we think is an important concept for understanding sometimes why our feeling states can take on this strong kind of momentum. And so helps to think back to who we were as children, when emotions would come on strongly, but a crying child can just an hour later be ready to play and eat food and just be free. So what happens as we get older, as our cognitive minds develop, we can develop this feedback loop where the stories we tell ourselves, the justifications and our ways of understanding the context or the facts can fuel our emotions. And then as we build up that emotional energy, our mind will sort of catch up by kind of reinforcing those stories or developing other aspects to the narrative that perpetuate the feeling states too. So it's kind of like this infinity loop back and forth. And so what we're going to go into today is a process through which we can allow ourselves to receive the intelligence, what's right about our emotion, but then have the willingness to let go of the stories and let go of some of that other excess activity, which keeps that feeling state into more of an emotional or even a mood. So do you want to say anything, Gabe, at this point?
No, that was great. Thank you.
No? Okay, cool. All right, well, let's go right into the the process then.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Gabe, tell me about a time, tell me about a situation you found yourself in recently where strong emotion was present and it had that feeling of like, whoa, this is kind of big.
Yeah. I had some time to think about it, and what came up was, so I was working with a colleague, and he and I made this plan to facilitate a workshop together, right? I also separately was planning my own workshop, and they happened to be scheduled roughly 10 days apart. And at first glance, they might be catering to the same audience. And so he was concerned and worried that I would be, one, competing with the workshop that we were putting together, and that I was also going to spread my energy too thin by preparing and revving up to do 2 workshops that close apart. And let's just say I was very frustrated and anxious and angry.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you for giving us some of that backstory, and now bring yourself more intimately into that state so that as we go through this process, that'll be what we're working with. Yeah. So the first one is the first step, and this is a 7-step process, by the way, folks, so stay with us. There's parts. The first step is to feel your bodily sensations. And Gabe, maybe you can describe what's happening in your physicality.
Totally. Yeah, even as I recall the story just now for everyone, I can feel like immediately my hands are clammy and hot. There's energy here. The other thing is my throat. There's a tightness, but like activation, like almost like I want to project and get something out. And, you know, maybe even a little fluttering in the chest, you know, just a little anxiety.
Perfect. So hands are hot. It's kind of like throat activated feeling, little flutters in the chest. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Number 2, name the feeling. Name the feeling that comes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, tied to this, what I mentioned is frustration. Just a sense of like my peer not wanting me to do my workshop that proximate to the date. So there's like obstacle, frustration. There's also anger, pissed. I want to do me, and some anxiety because I don't want to hurt the relationship.
So kind of a frustration, some anger, and a little anxiety, and maybe a little righteousness in the anger of like wanting to do your own thing.
Indeed.
Great. Yeah. Good to acknowledge it, you know, got to be real with it. So number 3, watching the mind-body feedback loop. So can you describe, you know, maybe how some of those things are connected between body, mind?
Yeah, totally. Thanks for drawing that up. I feel like I answered this question, so it's good to zoom in on it. One, I feel like I should be able to do me and not have to answer to him. There's like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't hurt the relationship, hence like the anxiety. And on the frustration part, like just a sense of like obstacle, like why are you giving me this choice? Like why are you telling me to do one thing and not the other? I feel like I can do both. So that obstacle, and I should be able to do me.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and I can totally imagine how staying in those storylines serves to perpetuate the feeling, kind of stoke the fire even a little.
Totally.
Great. So number 4, drop the story. Just hit pause on those just temporarily. Yeah, just tell us how that changes something in you.
It's a little hard. Like I can tell that I can still feel the thoughts and I can go there, but if I direct my attention to my breath, I feel I can more surely interrupt it. And when I do, it's got like a little waterfall effect. Like I can feel the sensations, what I had mentioned in the throat, what I mentioned in the top of the chest, my hands. And if I just breathe and settle into this moment and drop my thinking, there's still a buzz in those body parts, but it's tolerable.
Good. Good. So acknowledging, you know, it might take us effort sometimes, and tools like breath work, learning how to sit in stillness really support that endeavor of dropping the story. Perfect. So we're going to go to step 5, experience the energy and intelligence of the emotion. What is right about that feeling? You know, you mentioned that buzz that's more tolerable. What can we learn from it at this point?
Yeah. Like to zoom in on one of them just for the sake of, I guess, the exercise is just like the frustration, like what's right about it. What's very clear is like, I want to do my thing. And so to experience an obstacle and towards doing that, that's clear. Like, oh, I really want to do my thing. The other thing that's clear is that there's clear, like the feedback is like, I don't understand how your thing is different from our thing. And so there's some wisdom in that. And it probably means I need to be clearer in my communication about how they're different. And maybe that'll bring us onto the same page. Yeah, which would probably require me to cool it down a bit.
That's great though, tapping into our own sort of human need for sort of self-sovereignty and autonomy, but then also there's a wisdom in, okay, so maybe connecting in a different way would be helpful. So that's good. Okay, step 6, letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Just allow all of the emotions, feelings, sensations to subside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And honestly, even in presencing for me in this moment, and I'm kind of reliving it, but there's a relaxation that I experience in my body just in that turn of the phrase that you use of like, what's right about the emotion. Even that, just naming it, kind of relaxed me and helped me let go. Yeah, in a fun way.
Great. Perfect. Step 7, decide whether to communicate your feelings. And you've had some time since the actual event, but what is it that you would choose to bring forward, perhaps in service of the relationship? Or
yeah, and I can just say my decision was to communicate it, and it was hard. But actually I came in pretty grounded, and I wasn't frustrated at the person. I just got very clear on, oh, this is where I stand, and this is the stand that I'm taking, but I also want you to feel supported, and I don't want to my stand impact our collaboration. I'm committed to both. So what can we do? And that opened up a new space that wasn't there prior.
cool. Yeah. Excellent.
Thanks,
That's great. Cool. So those are the 7 steps. And maybe, Gabe, if you have it, maybe we could pop it in the chat. So if anyone who's watching this live or catching the recording, you can see what those steps are. And maybe there's an opportunity for you to think about something that's come up for you recently, which you could guide yourself through this process. Take the time to really feel. And you saw how Gabe was actually sitting and maybe letting things emerge rather than, mind seeking, how am I doing this right? So that's the invitation, is to practice this process. Let us know, how it goes for you. If you have any questions or comments or want to share what came up, feel free to pop that into the chat, even if it's after the event, and we can back and forth and help out if we can. And one thing that I'll just say, and maybe I should, Gabe, now would be a good moment to share. Our book is coming out. The e-version is out next Tuesday.
So wow.
Yeah. So maybe just like for anyone who's willing to pre-order, show support, and to go deeper into some of what we've been sharing so far. I think this is the 4th live done. But just while Gabe's saying that, I wanted to share one other concept real quick from the book on emotional maturity. And Diane teaches this so well all the time. But the vector that stands out in my mind that I think is worth sharing in this live is about avoidance and then overindulgence, and how important it is for us to sort of inhabit the middle space where we feel feelings fully. We're not avoiding them, we're not squashing them, but also letting them go when the moment is right to let them go, when we've received the intelligence, so that we don't stay there. We don't turn it into a way of being that then shuts us off from the freedom that we could innately experience otherwise.
Yeah, brilliant. Let me just also to riff on that, thank you, Kim, is just I'm going to put in the website for the book, and I'm also going to put the link, the buy link to buy the book, but it's a special link, so it's the publisher. If you click on that link, you're taken to the publisher's website, and there's a coupon code, CC, capital C, capital C 30, and that gives you a 30% discount. So enjoy that, and we'll see you around, gang. And if you have any questions around how to work with certain feelings, throw them into this chat on this video recording that you'll probably see later, and we'll respond to it and have a back and forth with you. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. Happy weekends. See you, Gabe.
Ciao.